Right now, the question circulating around the potential dismantling of the United States Department of Education. The controversial proposal by the Trump administration is raising concerns across the nation about what the loss of federal oversight and funding could mean for schools. Nebraska is no exception. Channel 8's Karen Lucrece is taking a closer look at how this could impact Nebraska students in potentially financial aid. Karen?
I'm here at the Nebraska Department of Education, but the U.S. Department of Education funds programs like special education and providing accountability across schools nationwide. Here in Nebraska, where rural schools rely heavily on federal funding, some educators are raising alarms about what could happen.
The elimination of the Department of Education also meant an elimination of federal aid to schools. And so not just the management structure, but the actual dollars flow. You're going to try to do schooling with less.
The Department of Education currently provides millions of dollars in federal funding to Nebraska schools. If it's done away with, schools across the state may face increasing pressure to meet the needs of their students.
Disparities between schools, the haves and have-nots, is going to be bigger. So, and that could be long-term. I don't think the state of Nebraska is terribly interested in having which school district you go to be profoundly defining of what your opportunities are after high school.
UNL professor Ted Hammond also worries about the impacts of college students' financial aid.
The federal government has guaranteed loans, so families can have well, this is the tuition we can pay out of pocket. This is the grant that we have that also reduced the bill, and here are the loans to make up the difference. If you start making loans harder to get, that becomes a constraining limitation on the sort of number of folks who can go into teaching.
Tim Royers, the president of the Nebraska State Education Association, releasing a statement saying, quote, "President Trump should consider taking my civics class because then he would learn that only an act of Congress could eliminate the Department of Education." Royers going on to say this would do real harm to thousands of families across the state. The Nebraska Department of Education says because this is a developing situation, they could not comment. And Hammond says it's not just funding educators are concerned about, but about losing federal guidance to ensure consistency in education across the country. Reporting in Lincoln, Karen Lucrece, Channel 8 News.
Thanks, Karen. How could this affect colleges like UNL? Are there any other departments the education covers, sports, etc.?
Actually, Sophia, the DOE does fund Title IX compliance, which is part of the reason why we have women's sports like volleyball. If the department were to be eliminated, it leaves the question of if men's and women's sports will be equally funded if someone's not watching at a federal level.
All right, Karen Lucrece reporting.